Okay, how y'all doing? I am making a dubia video for my buddy John, who's thinking about starting a small colony of them. So I figured I'd give him my tips on what I do with mine. Tokay's out chilling. Probably need some water. Sun Tiger chilling. Yeah, here's the roaches I just cleaned out earlier this evening, actually. It took about 45 minutes because I had to pick out all the tiny guys. My laundry everywhere. Okay, well, to start, this is a regular Sterilite. They're called show-offs. They just got the clips. And it's a file box, more or less. And I used to have this full-length tube in there, but I decided things were getting a little cramped with all the egg crate and the other half rolls. Let me see. Oh man, they've been making quick work of those grapes and that celery. So yeah, it's basically newspaper. You don't have to have a substrate like paper or anything like that, but I kind of did just because it's sort of a barrier between the heat source, which I put only from my hand here onward on this end down here, actually, from about until about here. Only that much goes on the heat pad, just so they don't get too hot. And then they got that heat lamp, which puts out another couple degrees or so. Like I said, these guys are a walk in the park. That's Fluker's Quicket Cruncher. I get it for $3.99 at my local pet store. People say it's cheaper to get the bag, so you can make a gallon of it, but this stuff isn't all that expensive, so I'm not even worried about it. This is the same thing, but it's calcium fortified, and I'm not going to be using this anymore because of the calcium fortified, because I'm using these for invertebrates. You don't want them to be too high calcium, nutrition-wise, because, inverts don't really, they don't get any nutritional value from calcium, and it doesn't really help anything. See that little tiny guy right there? They're sexually dimorphic. That's a male right there. Males have wings. There's two males right there. They're pretty quick. Females right there, they don't have wings, or they have very stubby wings, or vestigial. I feed mine healthy cereals like Kashi stuff, and those are multi-grain Cheerios. And then I'll throw them some veggies or fruits every now and again. And the nice thing about the cereal is it doesn't mold or anything like that. They just get in there and they bury themselves in it sometimes, and, that'll last them a while. I change this thing out about every other week or so, sometimes a little longer. They can't fly out. They don't make any noise. They don't smell at all. They're not like crickets. That little thing of crickets right there will start smelling long before this thing will, I guarantee you. They're easy, they're quick, but they're fun for some reason. I'm enjoying having them. They're a lot of fun to me. I compared them to a Tamagotchi pet thing on Facebook. Trying to think of what else. It's kind of late, so I'm kind of tired. I'm struggling to think of things I'm forgetting probably, but this is a small colony. There's probably, nymphs included. Nymphs are the tiny guys. There's about 100, 150, maybe 200. I had to, these little tiny things like this right here, I had to go through and dig all these little suckers out earlier, and that was a real pain. They, like all roaches, they like the dark. That's about it. They're really nothing. Like crickets are harder in my opinion, but that's my opinion. They reproduce pretty quick. They give birth to live young, which makes things easy. Just, if it's healthy for you, it's healthy for them, really. It all depends on what you're feeding them to. If I was feeding them to the tokay gecko, which I probably will eventually, I'd probably mix in some of this repcal stuff in with that cereal a little bit. Maybe get a little bit in them, kind of gut load them just a tiny bit. Yeah, I mean, if there's any more questions from anybody, John or my subscribers, feel free to find me on Facebook or on YouTube. That's pretty much it. That's a big female right there in the corner. And that thing I got the water in is pretty much... Let me find it. I don't think I have one sitting around. It's just like the rig... Oh, it's one of these that I got these rocks in. Just with the bottom, or the top cut off. Just to keep it off the newspaper, because if the newspaper gets a little moist and then it gets on the heat pad, then the humidity gets really high and water condenses on the sides. But other than that, that's about it. A lot of roaches. That's a male right there with the wings. Lots of little nymphs in there. Well, you got large nymphs, then you got tiny nymphs, and you know, all that good stuff. They like fruits. Oranges are really good for them. Like I said, if it's healthy for you, it's healthy for them pretty much. That's all there really is to it. So yeah, any questions, message me on YouTube or on Facebook if I'm a friend on there. And that's everything.